gonna go up the list here.
Hey,
Yo, what up?
not much. I just woke up, fell asleep with the podcast running, and I woke up and it was still going, so had me surprised.
Yeah. Well, we got talking about Lost, and that'll definitely put us for the next, hour or two.
Yeah, I haven't seen Lost, so. But I might watch it now because that all sounded really cool.
Yeah, it's a cool show. It's just, like we were saying, not to get back into it too much, but it's just dense. There's a lot of themes and ideas going on that I think a lot of people. I feel like the people who didn't understand the show didn't really get that part of it. So
Yeah.
it's cool. It's I think it's a really well written show too. So, or there are parts of it that are really well written because some of the dialogue is pretty shit. But whatever. But anyways, you heard us talk about Lost enough. What questions do you have? Or if you
I was gonna ask what your guys' most anticipated album of 2013 would be.
Man, I cannot even think of an album that's coming out this year. No, I'm sorry. I do know. There's a new Ghostface album coming out in April on the 16th. Ghostface Killah is releasing a concept album with Adrian Young, the guy who did the music for the Black Dynamite movie. And he has his own album called Something About April. It is everything that I think makes Ghostface unique. Just this guy himself, Adrian Young.
Yeah.
The music he writes is that kind of funk, jazz.
So it's like that kind of 70s
Yeah.
type thing. Yeah.
And when Ghostface has that kind of music, he's at his best, especially when he writes. Ghostface is always the best at writing stories. And this album is a concept album that's going to be released with a graphic novel, or at least a single issue comic book that follows the soundtrack or the CD. So it's almost like a soundtrack to the graphic novel, and I forget what it's going to be called, but that sounds like if it's done right, it'll be one of the best Ghostface albums ever. But I don't want to hype it up in my head so much because it could also just not work. So
Yeah, it's always good to not like hype up an album too much.
yeah, but if I had to choose, that would be the album that I'm most excited for this year.
I'd have to say mine is the new Queens of the Stone Age album.
Yeah, that's a band that I only got into when like in 2003 when they had that one like single that hit really big. And then
The No One Knows.
Yeah, and then I got that whole album and I liked, I remember listening to it and really liking it, but that was it. Like I never really listened to any of their other stuff aside from that one album, and I barely even remember it.
Yeah, my friend got me into that band like a year or so ago, and I really hit it off with it. Like I went through all the albums and all that,
Yeah,
and probably one of my favorite bands right now.
that's cool.
Like, just their drums and shit have always been good.
Yeah.
Like I'm a sucker for good drums on their albums, and they always just record it so well. Like I heard somewhere that they actually because when you're normally playing a drum set, you got all the cymbals and shit.
Yeah.
Well, they just recorded everything but the cymbals, all the snares and the toms and the bass, and then they recorded the cymbals after. And this is on the Songs for the Dead album, the one that you said you listened to.
Yeah.
So they recorded the cymbals separately, so there wouldn't be as much splashback from the cymbals.
Interesting.
I thought that was really cool.
That'd be that I always like stuff that has really impactful drums. Like Nirvana's the first thing I can think of. That was a band that I didn't care about until I listened to it and was like, wait a minute, Dave Grohl is killing it on the drums here. And then I just listened to all the songs off of Nevermind. That's the only album I've heard. And I'm like, dude, this is fucking sick.
Yeah, see, because they had a drummer before Dave. Well, they had a few drummers before Dave, I think, but they were just kind of your typical average drummer.
Yeah.
Nothing too special.
Speaking of, somebody in the chat just posted something about that the Sound City players.
Yeah.
If that's a CD, I heard about that. That's just a combination of all the musicians that I like. So I would love to hear that.
Yeah, they're releasing the album next month in March.
Oh, that's cool.
So they released the movie and they're doing like the album a month later, which I still haven't seen the movie yet. I still
Yeah,
gotta
neither
buy
have
that.
I want to see the movie. I mean, that I like anything like that that's kind of nostalgic of a period or of a place that's really important to people, especially given the people who are involved in it. Like I said, just people that I enjoy as musicians. Like my biggest problem with Dave Grohl is the music he generally plays is music I don't ever want to listen to. Because everything else I've seen him in, he seems like such a cool person and a really fun guy. I just don't like the Foo Fighters. So if he did something that was more heavy or more just like had an impact, I would be way more into his music. But all he ever does is Foo Fighters, which is fine. I don't think they're bad. It's just not my style.
I think there was one album he did in the early 2000s where he just got all of his like favorite metal singers and like he would just record the drums and the instrumentals and they all like sang on the songs, but I'm not really that much into metal, but I thought it was a cool idea.
Yeah, no, that'd be a cool album to check out.
I just like that his mentality is to get a bunch of good musicians together and make a bunch of good songs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good times.
Yeah. Cool.
But I saw the Foo Fighters live a few years ago, and it was probably one of the best live shows I'll ever see. Like, they played for 3 hours straight.
Whoa. See, I get tired after a while.
Yeah, they had 2 opening bands, too, so it was a 5-hour live show.
Jeez.
And it took a lot out of me, but it was an experience.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I like when bands play for a while, and I think the best show I've ever been to, in all honesty, was when I went to see Rammstein back in 2001, I think, for the Pledge of Allegiance tour. Those guys put on a show. Like, it was fun. It was mixed really well, the music and everything. Like, for a shitty stadium, the music was, the sound was mixed really well, so you could hear everything, and then they just put on a great show. Otherwise, when I went and saw Iron Maiden this past year with Eric, Derek, and Garrett, and our buddy Mauricio, that was a lot of fun, because, man, for a band that's been around for so long, and those people are getting pretty old, they still, like, really brought it on.
What band was it again?
Iron Maiden.
Oh, yeah, no, I've never really got into them.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're not into metal. But yeah, we got there, we didn't have to see a single opening band, we got there right before they went on the stage. So, like, we got to our seats and the lights went off. It was perfect. So that added to it. But man, I could not imagine a 5-hour show. That would be insane.
No, but I like opening bands. Like there was an opening band called the Joy Formidable, which they've gotten a lot more popular now. Like I think they had a commercial with some audio thing, but I had never heard of them at the time, and they really blew me away. And then they had Social Distortion come on, which the only song I know from them is Story of My Life, but that was cool to have like the whole like stadium sing that song.
Yeah, that's cool. It's always fun when you're somewhere and everybody's like, they're all on the same page about something. Like that's why I love going to concerts, because it's cool just being around other people who share the same music interests as you. And it's like, yep, we all know these words, we all sing it along, and it's a lot of fun.
Except when you have, like, there was quite a few, like, drunk assholes, like, in their 40s.
Yeah.
30s, just being obnoxious. But
that's gonna happen.
Kind of expected.
Anyway. Yeah. But, like you said, it's kind of expected, so.
Yeah. Some guy in the chat said that Everlong is his favorite track, and, like, they played that song last. And like after 5 hours and ending on that song, that was fucking cool.
Yeah, that sounds like it. That sounds really good. That's like the only song I can think of that I know. Like, no, I know. I mean, I know their newer stuff. Like, I downloaded One by One when it first came out, and I was. I
think that's probably one of their weakest albums.
Yeah, and I wasn't really impressed with it. And then. Yeah, aside from that, I had, like, The Color and the Shape when I was in middle school, but I didn't ever really get into it too much. I think that's what it was called. I don't know. But, Yeah, I mean, like I said, Dave Grohl's a really good musician, and he knows what he's doing. So, I'm excited for that Sound City Players album to come out because that's probably gonna be a pretty cool album.
Yeah.
And I do want to see that movie, so I don't know if it's out on Blu-ray or if it's still.
It's you can go to their site and you buy it, and I think it's like DRM free, so you just get the video file.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's kind of like how Louis C.K. did his stand-up thing, where it's like $5 and you just get a video file.
That's cool. I like that kind of stuff. Because
Yeah.
I don't know that that's something I'd want to pay $8 or $9 or what however much movie tickets cost nowadays. I always forget.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to pay like $15 to go see that movie, but that would be a cool movie to like just put on and hear about what people were doing during that time.
Yeah, it's $13 to buy it.
Oh, that's not bad.
You can get it on iTunes or get it with the video file.
Huh.
They might do a DVD. I'd imagine they would, because I know they did with the Foo Fighters documentary.
That's cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. But
well, if you don't mind, I could do one more quick question and let somebody else get on.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, what's the worst thing you've seen at a fast food place?
Like worst food item?
No, like what's the worst thing you've seen happen at a fast food place?
Not a lot has happened at a fast food place that's like, I mean, in San Francisco, you just see people walk in who are, like, I lived in San Francisco for 3 years, and you just see people walk in and they're fucked up and they have to be, like, escorted out. And, it's that kind of stuff. But the worst thing I ever did at a fast food place was I ordered a soda and then I threw it back at the guy who was working, and I felt really bad about it when I did it, but thankfully I only hit like the like mount or the little like shelving thing that they put the order on, so it didn't get him wet or anything. But like now, 10 years later or however, like it's gonna be like 10 years from when I did it. Like I felt so bad about it because it's just some dude who's probably getting paid $6.50 an hour.
Yeah.
And I just threw a fucking soda at him. Thankfully, he didn't get, like, soda all over him. But that's when, Jackass or Viva La Bam were getting, like, really big. So all my friends wanted to do that fucking stuff that they would see there. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's a lot of what influenced, my sense of humor and what I find funny. But, like, that kind of stuff, the stuff where they actually, like, fuck with other people's shit, I never liked. Like, whenever they did the prank wars and stuff, it's fun to watch when it's all, like, fun. But then when people are putting, like, shit from their ass in people's face or I'm like,
that's not even fun anymore.
That's not funny. You've crossed, like, a basic human line. Like, I don't know. It's funny to see the reaction, but I still don't think it's, like, a cool thing to do. But that's just me.
Yeah, I had something like that happen when I was like maybe like 10-ish. Like me and my friends went to McDonald's, we ate our food, and we were leaving. And there was some lady like smoking a cigarette outside, like this old lady. And my friends were like, "Oh, we walked past, we should just like cough at her, And me being 10, I was like, "Oh, that would probably be funny." And then we did it, and I think one of my friends stayed behind, and one of the employees had told him that like, "Thank you for not being an asshole." And immediately afterwards, I just felt horrible. So it's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you're like when you're about to fall asleep and then you think back like 7 years ago I just did that and it's horrible feeling.
I hate that feeling. I don't have too many like times where I think about stuff like that, but there are a couple instances where every so often I'll just think about something I did like that and I'll be like, man, why did I do that? That's just not. Man, that was not a cool thing. Like, even if it was an accident or just whatever, like, I had no control over it or I didn't have any control that I thought of at the time. It's just like, man, I wish it didn't go down that way. But
yeah.
Thankfully, I don't have too many of those.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
Well, Rocco, I was asking what Brian's most anticipated album of the year was? Did you have one?
Of this year coming up?
Yeah,
Queens of the Stone Age. Queens of the Stone Age, new album.
That was mine too. Yeah. Definitely.
That for sure. I mean, a new Daft Punk album, that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
That's really up in the air if it's even happening or what it's going to be or whatever. Queens of the Stone Age, I know who's on that album. I know who's involved in it. Fuck yeah. Yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
It's been like 6 years at this point.
Exactly. So there's actually a lot of albums I'm looking forward to this year, which is I couldn't say for the past couple, but sorry, hiccups. That is the most for me. That's just like, yep.
The only thing I'm kind of disappointed about is that Joey Castillo isn't their drummer anymore, because I really liked him.
Yeah, I really like him a lot too, and I hope that he can return. But for this album, it's Dave Grohl, so I'm not complaining too much.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see who their new touring drummer is, because I know Dave's not sticking around for the tour.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like Joey was so fun to watch a lot. I mean, it was just like, oh my god, this guy's like.
Yeah, like he'll break a stick, grab another one without missing a beat, and continue crazy.
He looks like a caveman. Yeah. He really does. He's got that brow, just. I mean, it's just he's the perfect drummer to me. But it was a bummer.
When my friends, when they had the Air Vulgaris tour back in 2007, my friend who introduced me to the band, he actually won backstage tickets. Yeah. It was a meeting. It was supposed to be a meeting before the show, but they ended up not being able to do it. So they just got to go backstage after the show. Oh. And he talked to all the band members and everything, and they signed a CD. But he said Joey Castillo is so shy. He just kind of sits back in the corner and watches everybody.
I've heard that too. That's funny.
Yeah.
I really wonder what his deal is. Why he's not? Because I heard that it wasn't we're replacing you with whatever. I heard that he.
Yeah, I think he's just really exhausted.
Yeah.
From a lot of the touring, because there was 1 year I think where he did all Queens, and then he immediately had to do Eagles death metal.
Yeah, he did everything. That guy's yeah. Hopefully he's getting some deserved rest, but
yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Cool.
I'll get off. Let somebody else get on.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys.
Good call. Good night.